The world's becoming hellish. But one good thing did happen. One giant, glorious, orange thing happened that made my day yesterday. Trump was given a CNN town hall, which was surprising, with a very happy young lady who was very pleased to speak to him, and he absolutely crushed it. And there's been a lot of salt that's flown from this, and so I thought it might be fun for the last thing on Friday afternoon to just go through some of it, just to have a bit of a light-hearted laugh at their expense, because finally something good has happened, even if it's very small and just a very, very brief blip on the constant downward trajectory of Western civilization. But before we begin, if you want to support us, go to lotus.com, check out Dan's latest Brokenomics of universal basic income, which has been this canard that people have talked about for many years that I hate. I hate UBI. I hate the implications of it. I hate the concept. I think it's terrible. You don't look at the picture we're using in the thumbnail. You're going to become a serf. You are literally going to become someone else's slave, totally dependent on them. Don't do it. Anyway, let's begin with Trump under accusation of being a rapist, which is found not to be the case. But then they were like, well, you just sexually assaulted her, sexually abused her. And do you not think that's gonna, I mean, that's how it works now. I'll accuse you of rape, but we'll just negotiate it down to sexual assault. It's like, really? Is that how that works? Like, or sexual harassment or something like that. But the lady's like, do you think that's going to affect your poll numbers? This was Donald Trump's response.
Speaking of New York, I want to ask you about a significant verdict that was reached yesterday. I know this is something you want to weigh in on as well. A Manhattan jury found that you sexually abused the writer E. Jean Carroll and defamed her. You've denied this. But what do you say to voters who say it disqualifies you from being president?
Well, there aren't too many of them because my poll numbers just came out. They went up. Okay. I think I'm the only person in history who had a charge like that. And usually you leave office, you say, I'm sorry, but I'm going to back home. I'm back home to my family and everything. I'm going to be resigned. My poll numbers went up, and they went up with the other fake charge, too. Because what's happening is they're doing this for election interference. This woman, I don't know her. I never met her. I have no idea who she is. I had a picture taken years ago with her and her husband, nice guy, John Johnson. He was a newscaster, a very nice man. She called him an ape. Happens to be African-American. Called him an ape. The judge wouldn't allow us to put that in. Her dog or her cat was named Vagina. The judge wouldn't allow to put that in. All of these things. But with her, they can put in anything. Access, Hollywood.
This was a jury of 9 people who found you liable of sexual abuse. Do you think that will deter women from voting for you?
No, I don't think so.
I just love Trump so much. Just this unrepentant BS merchant. I don't know her. I never met her. I had a picture taken with her husband. He was a lovely guy. It's like, come on, man. Dog's name Vagina? What are you talking about?
Like in Austin Powers with a lot of vagina, the character.
Yeah, I absolutely love Trump, frankly. But I mean, to be honest with you, he's asked some serious questions once she gets past the nonsense ones, and he has some good answers. Let's watch this one.
Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say that you want Ukraine to win. You
know what I'll say? I'll say this. I want Europe to put up more money because they're in for 20 billion. We're in for 170, and they should be. And they should equalize. They have plenty of money. They should equalize. I got with NATO, when I sat down, I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars that they weren't paying under Obama and Bush and all of these other presidents. That's why they're able to help them fight the war, because of the money I got. But I want Europe.
What's happening in Ukraine, Mr.
I want Europe to put up more money because they're laughing at us. They think we're a bunch of jerks. We're spending $170 billion for faraway land, and they're right next door to that land, and they're in for 20. I don't think so.
I love how Trump didn't answer that question at all, but makes his position very clear. Right, but I suspect he's going to be aiming some sort of negotiated settlement, which is why he's not answering it directly.
Of course, if you are going to take a position in favor of one of them, the other side is going to say find you non-credible for the role.
But I also love the way he gives the French and the Germans a lashing.
Yeah.
So, we're paying 170 billion or whatever, and you're paying 20. Come on, let's crack on. So another good answer he actually had was on school shootings, to be honest. Now, there's going to be a lot of contention over this answer from a European perspective, because this is an American problem. But I think that Trump actually has a handle on that, which is remarkable, to be honest, considering he's a 78-year-old boomer, BS merchant. And I say that with a great deal of love. That's why I like him. But he's got a really good handle on this. Let's watch.
Mr. President, you dealt with a lot of mass shootings when you were in office. This year, there have already been more than 200 mass shootings in 2023. If you are reelected, are there any new gun restrictions that you would sign into law?
I would do numerous things. For instance, schools, we would harden, very, very much harden. And I'm a very believer. I believe in teachers. I love teachers. I think they're incredible. And they love the children, not quite like the parents, but they love the children in many cases almost as much. Many of these teachers are soldiers, ex-policemen. They're people that really understand weapons. And you don't need 5% of the teachers would be more than you could ever have if you're going to hire security guards. But in addition to that, have security guards, you have to harden your entrances. You have to make schools safe. And you can make other places safe. But it is a big mental health problem in this country more than anything else. And remember, we have 700 million guns, 700 million. Many people, if they don't have a gun, they're not going to be very safe. I mean, if they don't have a gun, it gives them security. Now, you need them for entertainment, you need them for hunting, you need them for a lot of different things. But there are people that if they didn't have the privilege of having a gun in some form, many of them would not be alive today. There's a certain country that had a very strict policy on guns, very, very strict.
Which country?
And, Brazil, okay? Brazil, very strict. And the former president of Brazil, and the killing was incredible. They were walking into people's homes and killing people. They had no protection. He said, go out and buy guns. People went out and bought guns, and it went way down. The numbers went way down because they had security. If you look at Chicago has the single toughest gun policies in the nation. They are so tough you can't breathe. New York, too, and other places also. All of those places are the worst and most dangerous places. So that's not the answer.
He's right about all that.
A very good friend of mine went to Chicago last week, and he went to a mall, and the security officer there started telling him, leave, because he started hearing screams and looting and stuff and gunshot. And then he saw another person robbing a lady with a gun.
Jesus Christ. But he's not wrong about any of that. Like, the problem, Americans should feel that they can be armed and secure, right, for their own self-defense. He's not wrong. There are doubtless many people alive now who are alive purely because they had a gun when someone was trying to attack them. And it's obviously a mental health issue, and it's a very much American phenomenon as well. Doesn't tend to happen outside of America, actually. And he's not wrong about any of the points he was making there. Like Chicago and New York, way worse, despite the fact they've got massively restrictive gun laws. It's like, he's not wrong.
This is a very difficult topic, obviously. And one thing is, a friend of mine who's from Texas, he told me that his mother lives in Virginia, and she's 2.5 hours away from a police station. Yeah. So I asked me, what is she going to do if something happens?
Exactly.
Well, is she going to phone the police and
we'll see you in 2.5 hours.
See you in 2.5 hours.
Yeah. And that's assuming best case scenario. But yeah, so he gives a bunch of really good answers, actually. And he gives a bunch of really funny answers as well. This was undoubtedly my favorite clip from the entire thing. Let's watch this.
You did not testify in person in this trial. There was a tape deposition of you from October in it. You defended the comments that you made on that Access Hollywood tape about being able to grab women how you want. Do you stand by those comments?
I said if you're famous and rich or whatever I said, but I said if you're a star, you are, and I said women let you. I didn't say you grab. I said women let. You didn't use that word, but if you look, women let you. Now, they said, will you take that back? I said, look, for 1,000,000 years, this is the way it's been. I want to be honest. This is the way it's been. I can take it back if you'd like to, but if you're a famous person, if you're a star, and I'm not referring to myself, I'm saying people that are famous, people that are
you
stars,
were asked in the deposition,
people
do you
that are
consider
rich,
yourself to be a star,
people
and you
that are
said
powerful, they tend to do pretty well in a lot of different ways, okay? And you would like me to take that back? I can't take it back because it happens to be true. I said it's been true for 1 million years, approximately 1 million years, perhaps a little bit longer than that.
So you stand by those comments?
Well, I don't want to lie.
Mr. President, we have a lot of
here's what she wants
Mr.
me
President.
to say.
I love it. I just love it. It's this woman who's really offended. It's like, do you say, well, I don't want to lie. It's true. They do let you do that. It's like, yeah, I mean, he's not wrong, obviously. Like, you know, he just framed it in a way that was very rude. So the question that the left-wing commentariat on Twitter were asking is this a win for Trump? Oh, yeah, it seemed to be. Andrew Yang making a good point here. Clear win for Trump, certainly in the Republican field, probably overall. Nobody was happy with that. Sean King had to admit, yeah, Donald Trump crushed this town hall for his base. The audience loves him and his answers. He was able to spin the questions however he wants and always pivots back to making his own record sound amazing. It's a win for him. You can tell by the laughter in the audience. There's a very favorable audience for Trump. Everyone was there having a good time. Like one of his rallies. Brilliant. So AOC was, of course, furious on twitter.com over this. CNN should be ashamed of themselves. They have lost total control of this town hall to again be manipulated into platforming election disinformation, defenses of January the 6th, and a public attack on a sexual abuse victim. The audience is cheering him on and laughing at the host. This falls squarely on CNN. Everyone here saw exactly what was going to happen. Instead, they put a sexual abuse victim in harm's way, and there was a choice, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, just cope and seethe.
I just can't stand her.
No, of course not.
I know Dan has a soft spot on her, but
does he?
I can't stand her.
God, terrible. So she went on MSNBC and continued molding about this. Let's watch.
You know, I know you said earlier that you will not comment on the platforming of such atrocious disinformation, but I would. I think it was a profoundly irresponsible decision. I don't think that I would be doing my job if I did not say that. And what we saw tonight was a series of extremely irresponsible decisions that put a sexual abuse victim at risk, that put that person at risk in front of a national audience, and I could not have disagreed with it more. It was shameful.
Shameful.
But the way she uses language, she speaks as if it has happened.
Yeah. Yeah, she does, yeah. Let's put the sexual assault victim at risk.
I don't know, but the way she does, it seems as if she has already judged him.
Yeah. Well, where's the harm? Like, what, you know? But morning, Joe Scarborough. Oh, look at that body language. Look at that body language. You can see he is furious.
Yeah.
You know, and he had some thoughts. Let's watch.
But it is. I can't believe I'm going to use catastrophizing language here. But it was disgraceful on every level.
Ooh. Shame.
It showed, I wouldn't say it's dangerous for democracy because we passed that a long time ago.
Past.
But it showed the corrosive effects of Trumpism over 8 years.
He goes on, actually. I've cut out bits in which he ends up swearing as well, which I'm amazed he's allowed to do on live on air. But yeah, you can see just the body language. This is a total defeat, total moral collapse. And so you got people like Jonathan here posting on Twitter, and this got 11,000 likes. I've been a lifelong viewer of CNN through the ups and downs and choice decisions. This decision, however, is the last straw. As of tonight, MSNBC is my new news channel. What are you talking about? I have a particular news channel that I watch and love all day. Apart from viewers of Lotus.com, of course, and I know that you watch and love us, and we love you too. But like this, no. I just find this really amusing. And so CNN had to address this because they got a lot of kickback from their own audience. And so Anderson Cooper had to go online, go live on TV, and actually make a good point about what they'd done here. Let's watch.
And according to polling, no other Republican is even close. That man you were so upset to hear from last night, he may be president of the United States in less than 2 years. And that audience that upset you, that's a sampling of about half the country. They are your family members, your neighbors, and they are voting. And many said they're voting for him. Now, maybe you haven't been paying attention to him since he left office. Maybe you've been enjoying not hearing from him, thinking it can't happen again. Some investigation is going to stop him. Well, it hasn't so far. So if last night showed anything, it showed it can happen again. It is happening again.
It is.
He hasn't changed, and he is running hard.
Yeah.
You have every right to be outraged today and angry and never watch this network again. But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away?
That's a great point by Anderson. Trump is inevitable. It's happening. Get used to it. You're going to have to be exposed to the giant orange king forever. But yeah, so I mean, I'll leave it there because you can see there's just a million articles of them coping and seething and being very angry that Trump said things that they don't approve of.
I must say about this that I really like Victor Davis Hanson. Oh, yeah. And he very frequently has a really interesting thing to say. And he said something like the following, that because there is this rumor that DeSantis is going to run for president, I think he will, for the Republican primaries. Hanson said that the Democrats and the establishment that supports the Democrats will try to lift Trump into the Republican audience. And when he wins DeSantis, that's the rationale. Then they're going to attack him even more with all the legal stuff.
Quite possibly,
yeah.
But
just interesting take. Yeah. Victor Davis Hanson always has
he's always very interesting man to listen to. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll leave that there. As Anderson Cooper said, Trump is inevitable. Get used to it. That's a small victory.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Contemplation series, this episode on why IQ is not a good measure of intelligence. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.